1, 2, 3, let's go!
Graffiti is everywhere. Bus shelters, trains, buildings and streets. You name it and somebody has probably defaced it. Today I'll be discussing a somewhat age-old question. Should graffiti be considered art? It seems to be one that has puzzled the public for quite some time. Whilst governments and councils disagree, the talent and beauty of graffiti undermines the law. So the basics. Art is defined as the making of objects, images, music, etc. that are beautiful or express feelings, whilst graffiti is defined as writings or pictures painted on walls and public places, usually illegally. I will be using these definitions to show that the line between what is considered art and what is considered graffiti is actually a very slim one. Let's start by talking about Banksy. What started as another illegal drawing needing to be cleaned up quickly became images beloved by the nation. The public scrambled to buy the buildings he vandalised or protect them from being destroyed. His work hit the galleries and success became second nature. But how could that happen when his work is technically illegal? The messages behind his work of anti-war and anti-consumerism are the ones that really resonate with today's society, and the artistic skill that goes into his pieces is actually quite beautiful. Some councils remove his work, others paint over it, but the public is quite proud of his work, as shown in 97% of 500 people voting to keep his work well-hung leather up in Bristol.
Well, Detroit is marking a milestone tonight in its fight to clean up graffiti-ridden areas that began 5 years ago.
The 100,000th tag has been removed with plans for something special to take its place.
We've all heard others complain about how dirty the streets are when graffiti is around. And yes, in some cases, those people are right to say that. Graffiti of tags of so-and-so were here are not interesting, nor should they be seen as art. You don't see Andy Warhol tagging his name in a New York gallery, do you? One thing we did see was Jean-Michel Basquiat's early work, which did consist of him creating graffiti. The infamous Samo tags across the streets of New York lasted 3 years, and the public really enjoyed them. But they weren't just a name on a wall, they were messages that made a person think. Basquiat also challenged anti-consumerism through his Samo work with the help of friend Al Diaz. The controversial message of Samo is dead that began to spread in 1980, followed by a television appearance that revealed him as the man behind the tag, helped lift Basquiat's work into the public eye. Another famous figure who started out with graffiti is none other than Keith Haring. He would chalk outlines on blank black advertising space backgrounds in New York subway stations, and was even arrested a few times for vandalism. But after this humble beginning, he embarked on a hugely successful journey, where he then used his work to showcase messages of the AIDS epidemic that struck America in the 1980s, and his opinions on apartheid in South Africa. What started out as graffiti in subway stations turned into companies and charities paying and even begging him to create large graffiti-like murals in their cities, and many of them are still around today. So where does the line between art and graffiti become blurred? It seems that to become an artist you just have to become successful, right? And how is that fair to graffiti artists around the world who are shamed and arrested for their work, despite how others are given a platform? I've seen many graffiti pieces that are worthy of recognition, but those are unfortunately countered by ugly tags of names. By definition, art has to express feelings or be beautiful. Apart from the name tags, a lot of graffiti does fit that definition. Even people who tag swear words can be argued to be expressing feelings of hatred towards current affairs. Feelings towards anti-war and support for the gay community during the AIDS epidemic are very influential in terms of spreading activism. Why? Because thousands of people walk past graffiti daily. Think about the impact that each graffiti message has due to that. Creating a message on the side of a building is just the same as a protest because of how many will see it. And graffiti can be beautiful too. The subway trains from the 70s that were covered in graffiti were so beautiful that they inspired many to start creating through similar means. Phase 2, also known as Lonnie Wood, invented bubble writing. And how did he do that? Through graffiti on subway trains. I know it seems like a very small thing, but think about what the world would be like without bubble writing, when so many graffiti artists copied Phase 2 style back in the day. Maybe it's time we change the definition of art. A YouGov poll conducted in 2014 showed that 66% of people say that graffiti can be art, and 58% said that some is acceptable. So the public has spoken. Why has nobody listened? Despite the legalities of graffiti, free walls exist where artists can create their work legally, so how vandalous is it actually? And the fact that they are known as graffiti artists yet aren't treated as such highlights how little they are valued in society, despite the big role they play with spreading activism and awareness. In conclusion, perhaps graffiti should be considered art, though not all of it. It takes a lot of time and artistic skill to create, and often highlights bold activism within society. Art is subjective anyway, so it really is up to the people to decide, and they kind of already have. And just because Banksy or Keith Haring did great things doesn't mean there aren't any good graffiti artists anymore. They're either persecuted or haven't been discovered yet. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below, as I'd love to have a discussion about this. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video if you did enjoy it.